and welcome everyone to the Live Limitless series where we are focusing all about having conscious, abundant, and empowered relationships. So, on the surface, we may see or think of ourselves as being in and belonging to relationships with our partners or others. This, however, is only part of the true depth and meaning of what it is to be in relationships. Relationships are sacred territory. Growth arrives when we answer the call to move from beneath the surface and embrace what we are being invited into. So, to those of you who do not know me, I'm Nipam Jain and I love transforming and facilitating people from their limiting belief, pain, and trauma so that they can be the best version of themselves. And I'm so excited to have today someone very, very special. And I've been really chasing her to be with me on the summit. So, welcome, Gwen. Welcome to the show. And really, really excited to have you over here. So, a small intro about Gwen. She is, yeah, she is a luminary. She empowers empaths to evolve out of narcissist abuse, and she is a baggage begone facilitator and speaker. She helps empaths to release relationship residue, realize self love, and regain their personal power so that they can have the love, peace, and freedom they desire. And she's most passionate about helping and creating radiant relationships that stand the test of time. So, welcome to the show, Gwen. I'm so excited to have you over here. Before we begin about what you have to share with my viewers, I would like to know what made you choose, what made you so passionate about having that radiant relationships, and as it describes that you work basically with the relationship residue, you help people release. So over to you, and we would really like to know a little more about your journey into this.
Thank you so much, Nipam. I'm thrilled that you finally that you
Yes,
persisted and that we're here together. You're so
exactly.
lovely, and what you're doing in the world is so important because
Yes.
relationships truly are the core. They're the foundation of everything, and that's where I start. Is July 31st, 2009. I did something that my former husband, who was a narcissist, considered a stupid thing, and
Okay.
he whipped me with wet pants
Okay.
and after throwing coffee on me. And then he screamed at me, I'm going to keep coming down on you harder and harder until you stop doing stupid things. Now, the stupid thing that I did was I put more clothes in the washing machine with his pants because the machine wouldn't wash just one pair of pants. It needs
Yes.
things to work
Yes,
together.
definitely.
Yes, and that was my job. And they were going to be dry in the time he needed them, but that was the stupid thing I did. So I feared for my life. I fled to the gully. I lived in Montana at the time, and I was hunched down, and the smell of that coffee and the sting of where the zipper hit me in the corner of my eye was just, I'm just shaking, and I'm looking at my phone and there's no one I can call because systematically throughout our marriage I had allowed him to isolate and alienate everyone in my life, including my father, who lived 2 miles away.
Oh my God.
And this is what narcissists do and control freaks do. They need to be in
Yes.
control. So that was the day that I began my journey back to myself. I finally said, okay, the first number in the call is my cousin. She's in a horrible divorce. She's an attorney. She never answers her phone. She answered it on the first ring. She said, you need to make a plan. I'm like, I don't make a plan, I'm gone. So I packed things up and began my journey back to myself. And it was a long journey. I was under fog for a long time, and I studied a lot of things to help myself and, of course, to help other people because I couldn't just do it for myself.
Yes,
And
definitely.
that's what led me to the relationship work. I discovered myself in another relationship with a business partner, And there was that same controlling and the rage and the like he screamed in my ear so loud it was like, total freeze.
Mm.
And shortly thereafter, I'd met this woman a few years before that did energy work, and I decided to take a class from her. And she was doing this relationship clearing. And I thought, do I
Okay.
do my former husband? Do I do my business partner? It was like the business partner. And so I did him because he was the stickiest. And we'll talk about
Okay.
sticky residue because
Yes, yes,
relationship
yes,
residue is sticky, right?
yes.
Um, and so I did the clearing on him. And the next day he listened to me. And it was
Okay.
like it had been many, many months. I mean, that relationship was 22 months, $22,000. And I was so drained. I was gray after every day I worked with him.
Mm-hmm.
And after I learned the energy clearing, I'm like, I'm still seeing clients besides working with this business partner. And I started using it with clients. And oh my God, the things that happened. As
Wow.
the one woman who was her former husband was using her children as a weapon. And he had bought a car in her name. And was she hated the car so much she wanted to get in an accident to total it. Totally
Okay.
unsafe behavior, especially with their two young children. So
Yes.
we cleared the relationship residue between the two of them. And within a couple of days, he actually, it might have even been the next day, he actually said, I want that car back for my new wife. And I'm going to take it out of your name. And you can get whatever you want. And so she
Yes.
did. I mean, she got the minivan of her dreams, and now she's safe, and their kids are safe.
Lucky.
And so I was like, there's really something here about this energy
Yes.
mess.
Yes, definitely. So, you always say that, there's a light hiding under the sticky relationship goo. So, how do you discover that? How do you remove it? So, would really like to
Definitely.
know more about it.
Relationship residue is really sticky in that it's almost like that sponge that you have on the shower, the soap sponge. So it's like attachments, control tools, curses, shackles, woundings, and so it's like it it totally covers up all of that light, and it puts a like a cage around you or a bucket over all of the light that you have inside. And you might get glimpses of it, and look in the mirror and see a little a little smile in your eyes, but most of the
Yes.
time you don't even look at your eyes because you don't even want to look at yourself because you feel so weighed down. It's like looking
Hmm.
through dirty glasses so you can't see clearly.
Okay, so that's because of the relationship residue which we all have.
Yes.
Okay. So, how do we
Yeah.
get it? And is it from this life? How do we have that residue in us?
Okay, so relationship residue can be from many different places.
Okay.
Mostly from energy bullies, which instead of saying narcissists, manipulators, control freaks, negative Nellies, procrastination,
Mm.
comparison, our inner bully, it's just easier to say energy bully. So I coined the term energy bully or energy
Okay.
bullies. So
Fine.
we get the residue from the energy bullies, whether they're inner, outer, in our relationships, or from past lives, future lives, other
Okay.
dimensions. And I recently had an experience with another dimension where I literally felt someone having a heart attack. And that was very fascinating because I was actually in the ER because I'd had symptoms of it, but I wasn't having one. They were like, your
Okay.
heart is so healthy, but I had actually been receiving messages from another dimension.
Okay. Wow.
So, and all of that can attach to us in our energy field because we're just great big balls of energy.
Okay.
We're 360-degree energy field, and we're bumping around, wanting to connect. That's what humans want to do. Our energy is reaching out
Yes.
to others, others' energy is reaching out to us. So the attachments can come from us, from others, and they get stuck. They can be thoughts, and it's like that you get that thought that's like the train going around the track. Those are residue. Those are relationship residue when you're thinking, oh, why did that happen? Why? Oh God, we could do an entire show about why.
Okay. Wow. I mean, I never knew it in so much depth. So, how does one clear this kind of energy field, or how? What is it? What is it?
What is it? Okay. Well, and that and I know it's a little early, but I do have an audio which is a free gift that can clear some of the relationship residue for you. So
Wow.
a lot of it, I mean, it starts with awareness, and we have the 5 steps of healing are awareness, and then uh, acceptance, letting go, forgiveness, and
Mm-hmm.
gratitude. So you can start with just the awareness. And once you have the awareness, there's simple tools. Basically, energy hygiene is one of the things. So you can let's actually just so think of somebody really quickly that has been bothering you.
Okay, fine.
Okay, now cut the cords.
Okay, I just do it this way.
Yeah, and just say cut the cords. Just you're just
Okay.
karate chopping.
Okay.
Okay, now how are you feeling about that person now?
It just disappeared.
Exactly. It's that simple. And
Lovely.
you might want to ask me about cords.
Yes, definitely. That would be my definitely a next question to ask. Now, what are these cards?
So like I said, cords are attachments, and they're I see them actually as shackles. So when I'm working with someone, I mean, first let's talk about cords, because
Yes, right.
you may have heard a lot of people may have heard about cord cutting. And then
Yes,
they're like, well, I cut the cords and they came back. So yeah, you did this and they came back, because we're energy beings and we're constantly connecting and reconnecting to, because we want
okay.
connection.
Yes.
And so if you cut a cord, that one didn't come back, because once you energetically you remove something, it's gone. And what you're dealing with is another layer or a new one.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
So, what
So
exactly is this cord? I mean, obviously, we can't see. Everyone doesn't have that
right.
capacity to see. So, do we have cords with each and every person which we entangle with, or we have relation with?
Absolutely. And like I said, I see them more as shackles. But first, everyone on the planet has a heart cord with everyone else on the planet. That's how we are one. And most people are not aware of it. That one will never go, because we're connected. It's like the hive connection between all humans.
Yes.
And I think that it probably goes beyond humans, but then
Yeah.
that's another whole, yeah, show too. So
Yes,
so
true.
chords are an energy, and they're a frequency, they're a vibration, they're I like I said, I see them as shackles. So I see them as corsets and chastity belts, collars, cages, chains, manacles, and blocks of cement. So things that are holding people back. Cords are a disruption and um, a disruption and a blockage in your energy flow. And it's
Okay.
something that someone else is actually, like, if you plugged into someone like an energy cord,
Mm-hmm.
like
Right.
uh,
Yes.
and that's, they're draining the energy. It's like they're lighting up. I mean, you may have seen couples where he's like super charismatic and everyone thinks he's the most amazing thing, and his wife is really mousy and timid. It's
Yeah.
because he's sucking all of her energy. And when she gets away from
Okay.
him, all of a sudden she's this powerhouse that you never even imagined, because she's no
Right.
longer being drained by that connection with him. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I would really like to know. So when you just talk about that the person must be draining your energy. Okay, so this connection of the cord, most of the people are not even aware about it. Like if this exists or something to be
Yeah,
done
most
with
people are
it.
not, but
So how do you deal with
yes.
it? How do you okay, so if I know my energy is getting drained off, how do I disconnect? How do I use it? Is there any way out? I
Okay,
mean,
so you'll know if you're drained. If your
yes.
energy, like I said, I was working with the business partner
Yeah,
and I was
yep,
gray. I mean, he was
exactly.
literally, I did not have energy,
Mm-hmm.
um, a lack of self-esteem, saying
Mm,
you're sorry all the time, constantly apologizing for who you are, what you've done. You know, you see a lot of young girls that are just like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and it's like,
yes,
you are not. You are radiant. And
right.
that relationship with themselves, their lack of self-esteem, they may be under a controlling narcissist as a parent. They also are dealing with all the hormones of being a teen or a young woman, and
Yes,
bullies, at school that, say you're a dog, or, whatever slights and slurs that they throw,
right,
those
right.
words, especially, so the people that I work with most are empaths. So empaths really feel this stuff, and they're not usually aware of what's happening. But you can have that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, oh, and if you walk past it or you see an accident and you just feel like you've been stabbed in the heart, or your gut is like, oh, These are some
So
of
you're
the
actually feeling it in your body, isn't it? Is that so?
so here's the thing. I'm kinesthetic, and so I'm very clair sentient, and that
Okay.
was my first clair. I have the four main clairs now, and I probably have others, but they keep developing as I use them. So
Right.
I feel it in my body. Other people might just get the knowing, or they might see it, like they might see the chords. They
Yes.
might hear something that's like, crackling.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first heard about cutting cords, I'm like, oh my God, that's just like, I'm seeing the, um, like an electrical wire that's
Mm-hmm.
been down because of a storm and it's going all over the place.
Right.
That, and I thought, that's not a good thing to do. We don't want to cut cords. We want to unplug them and plug them into something else. Now, you can do that. And that was the first tool that I created, but it came from a codependent place because I was still feeding that other person. And it's not my responsibility to feed them, it's their responsibility to feed them. But if
Yes.
you're in that place, you can just unplug yourself from them, because we're plugged into them too, and
Wow.
plug yourself into the sun. So there's, I
Okay.
mean, that was one of my first tools. And so I just gave that as a free gift here.
Superb.
Um,
Superb.
so unplug yourself from them, plug yourself into the sun so that you have this radiance and the divine. Um, and so, yeah, some people just know that they're connected. They just know that things feel bad.
Yeah.
But our body, especially for me, my body is a barometer. If all of a sudden I feel out of sorts, I start looking around. Is this mine, or is it someone else? Another thing that your listeners can take,
Yes.
it's like when they're feeling out of sorts, is this mine or is it somebody else's? Because you may have just walked through somebody that's, past somebody that's having a bad day, or somebody might
Mm.
have just thought about you. You might, even, nowadays you might just be on Zoom and somebody, in the background is, has just had a fight with a,
Yes.
a significant other or a family member. Yeah.
Anything is possible. In fact, even yeah, when I just heard this concept, okay, thoughts are not even yours, it can be of someone else. So I was like, okay, is that really true? Because whatever is going around in your head, in your body, you think, oh, it's mine, and you just own it. Unknowingly, we just own it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's, I mean, that's a very biggest tool. I would say that you have given it to our viewers. So tell me, you work a lot with empaths, and can you just take us to a journey where you helped out, any kind of experience you had dealing with such people, which would really add on to our knowledge, add on to our awareness?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I'm going to take a quick drink of water first, because water is
Yep,
is one of the
please.
most important tools that we have.
Yes. I so love that color of your bottle.
Thank you. Yeah, blue water is
Yep.
really powerful and healing, and I've been drinking it for a long time. And you put it in the sun, and then you have solar blue water,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that again is a whole nother show. So,
Right.
when you're asking about working with empaths, and specifically, what was it that you wanted to know again?
So you work a lot with the empaths. So what I wanted to know is like, how do you any kind of experience while working with them, or which will add on to our awareness? And
Ah,
so just an experience of yours, you can take us to that journey.
mm. So there is a shadow cloak of responsibility that most empaths wear.
Mhm.
And that is because we feel other people's feelings. So most empaths are going to feel it in their body, and they're going to, because we can take on other people's illnesses, and they can be anywhere on the planet. I mean, if you have a
Okay.
connection with someone, so I work with people all over the planet, and there might be somebody in Australia during the fires, people that were so scared and feel that anxiety in my body, and was able to clear the anxiety. I work with a team, like, we call them the luminous energy entourage. So
Okay.
it's 100% pure light source, pure life source. The archangels, the ascended masters. There's
Hmm.
Kuan Yin is a big part of that comes forward a lot for me and for other women.
Okay.
And so Lee was just easier than resources or the luminous energy entourage. So they assist in clearing. So
Wow.
how do I describe clearing? I just know that it's clear. It's like somebody says, I'm having anxiety, and I find where that knot is, and I clear it. And then, so do you have any anxiety in your body right now?
Mm. I think some butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was just feeling it. So I had already felt it. So let's just clear that. Yeah. And check it now.
That's amazing. The intensity has just reduced a lot.
Yeah. And I didn't even ask you what the intensity was. So we could have gone, is there we'll ask, on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is it? 10 being the most you can imagine and 0 not at all. So then we get that measurement, and then we bring it down, and it can happen in just a matter of seconds. It's
Yeah,
it's really
that's
amazing
that's
how
powerful.
how
That's really
quick the
powerful.
tools are of working in the energy field with energy medicine. And let's see, let me think of another. Oh, so the shadow cloak of responsibility. So most empaths have this shadow cloak of responsibility because they're
Okay.
feeling other people's pain. So they want the other people to feel better. So they feel responsible for making those other people feel better so that they'll feel better. It's a vicious circle.
Okay.
So the truth is we are only responsible for our own happiness. And yes, I mean, if you're a parent, you have certain responsibilities to your children to keep them fed and keep them safe, but you are not responsible for their happiness. And I hear so many parents say that, I just want my kids to be happy. It's
Yeah,
like,
I think
you have
that's
the
the
wrong truth.
ultimate goal of, as a parent, we say, okay, I mean, my ultimate responsibility is to make them happy. And I think we are the last person to seek that happiness for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. We are all responsible for our own happiness. And so I help them remove that shadow cloak of responsibility, and then it actually exposes their wings. So this is part of how I empower empaths is there's
Wow.
all these different kind of wings that show up with what messages that person needs to hear at the time. And you can have different wings at different times. So angel wings and dragon wings and
Wow.
eagle wings and phoenix wings and Pegasus and unicorn Pegasus and butterflies and dragonflies and cranes. My back gets very cluttered because most of them are on my back as I'm as I'm
Okay.
as I'm as I'm finding them for people. So yeah, so that's
Lovely.
did that
That
answer your
is,
question about how I work with empaths
yes,
and some of
yes,
the
yes,
experiences?
definitely,
Did you feel
definitely.
that?
Yes, I could actually feel something shiny and yeah, definitely. So you are a baggage begone facilitator. So what is that? So
So,
it's everything to do with the relationship residue or
yes. Oh, well,
okay.
so relationships are, we're talking about relationships, maybe
Yes.
define that, because relationships are with anyone, including ourselves. So it's not just the romantic relationship, it's business partners, it's with your children, with your siblings, with your parents, with friends, with how you feel about your leadership in your country, with your God, and whatever,
Yes.
higher power you believe in. And then most importantly is that relationship with ourselves. And so many people never think about looking in the mirror and telling the soul that embodies them that I love you.
Yes.
And yeah, so
I
yeah,
so
but
on
then
this
yeah,
note, when you are saying this, I could really I just that scene of mine when first I started learning this energy medicine, and that was the first thing when we were asked to look into the mirror and just say I love you, or for me it was like, oh no, I mean I really can't do that. So I can totally relate to what you're saying, that self love and having that bonding with yourself is really really very important. So, Gwen, tell me, what tips you would like to give it to our viewers who are actually nurturing themselves, their relationship with their own self, rather looking outside, that love from out, the care for from out. So, what is the message you would like to convey to them?
so there's a lot of really great tools. And the I love you, I love me. Try it both ways, because one is speaking to the soul and one is speaking to the spirit. So the soul is, it's like our body is our car, and our soul is the engine in the car, and then our spirit is the driver in the car. And oftentimes our driver gets kicked out, and we are bumping around without a driver. and
Yes,
and
yes.
that's and I actually, one of my energy hygiene tools is addresses that beautifully. And you might have some as well. um, But for self love, so looking in the eyes in a mirror and say, I love you. And then try, I love me. And notice what is different in your eyes, in your physiology. And right now, not being able to touch people is just brutal. And we need the
Yes.
oxytocin. So
Yes.
the face hold. It's like you can hold both, but yeah. So hold your face. You can cup your cheek with your hand and just feel into that and feel the texture of your skin and feel the is are you willing to sink into your hand and notice what it feels like to love yourself and to give yourself that care and that touch. But
Right.
those are two really good ones.
Yes.
Gratitude is huge. I mean, gratitude is one of the highest vibrations that we have here on the planet, and just the simple practice of saying I am grateful for, I am grateful that, I am grateful that I am. There's a good self-love
Actually,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is quite intense and quite deep. So Gwen, what is your take on meditation? Do you suggest a way of doing it? Do you follow it? Is it a time you have a certain time? So I would like to know a little more about it from you.
Okay, awesome. So for me as a young person, I had so much energy I couldn't sit still. And hearing all those things about transcendental meditation and sitting meditation, and that it's a good thing to do, and I'm just like, it's not happening. And then I studied massage in the 80s, and um, I learned Tai Chi,
Wow,
moving meditation. And that started really working for me. Being able to move my body and be in meditation at the same time worked really well. And now I have a practice that I do every morning and every evening, where I drop in and I am very aware of what's going on in my body. Um, I speak words, and look into darkness, and
wow,
then I express gratitude, as well as scanning my entire body for anything that's unwell, or in that's disruptive, or restless, because restless is one of the first indications that there's something stuck in your energy field. So I
right,
scan my whole body, and then bring light in through the whole body, and then gratitude manifestation, and then I release anything that's in the way. So
lovely,
that's yeah. And then I also do a lying practice, where I lie in a series of positions, and just allow myself to empty out and have those moments. And they're short. It's like only a minute at a time, just lying in a position and allowing yourself to just empty out and notice what's comfortable, not
wow,
what's hurting,
lovely.
but what's comfortable.
That's really amazing to know it. And yeah, it was really amazing knowing you, having you here. So, and Gwen is giving us some residue clearing, right? Relationship residue clearing recording. So, how did we get so lucky, Gwen, for that offer which you've given it to us and our viewers? Thank you, viewers, for watching us, being with us, and I hope this transforms your awareness about relationships, about how to be when you are into a toxic relationship and how to remove that residue. So, Gwen, if they want to, my viewers want to connect with you, where they can find you.
GwenLepard.com, and that's Gwen is Gwen, Leopard is Lepard. So it's like the big cat, but without the O.com.
Right.
And that there, and also Radiant Relationship Revolution, which is on Facebook. That's my page on Facebook. So you can find me
Okay.
Radiant Relationship Revolution on Facebook, and GwenLepard.com on the web.
Yep. Thank you so much, Gwen, for your time. And it's really has transformed my awareness. And definitely, I know for my viewers also, something must have shifted. So please, viewers, do let us know your takeaways. If you have question, you can connect to Gwen, and you can connect with me on my Facebook page, Body Mind Divine. So till then, stay safe, stay healthy, love yourself a little more. Bye. See you on the other side.